Welcome to Skift Travel Spotlight, the future of tourism in Saudi Arabia. In this episode, Skift chats with two executives whose organizations are playing an enormous role in developing Saudi Arabia's tourism infrastructure. Osamah Alnuaiser, Vice President of Marketing and Communications for Riyadh Air, and Rikin, CEO of Dida Travel. Saudi Arabia recently confirmed it will invest over $800 billion in the country's tourism sector over the next 10 years. And that's on top of the billions already spent. Many of the nation's giga projects are actively courting partners and global brands such as Hilton, Accor, and IHG. They are already starting to flock to the kingdom. In this episode, Osamah and Rikin give listeners an insider's view on how the industry can plug into Saudi Arabia's growing tourism ecosystem.
I'm speaking with Osamah, the Vice President of Marketing and Corporate Communications for Riyadh Air. It's good to have you. Thank you for coming to WTM, and thank you for spending some time with us. So the first question is quite simple. It's, tell me about your airline's role in supporting the development of Saudi's tourism infrastructure, and specifically your investments as the airline in building out that infrastructure and that vision for tourism in the kingdom.
Well, thank you so much, Oliver. It's a great pleasure to be here in WTM. First time for us in Riyadh Air. And we are very keen to see the establishment of Riyadh Air since His Royal Highness the Crown Prince announced the airline in March 12th this year. It gives us, huge mandate to build an airline from scratch. The last, I would say, carrier that was launched in the region was almost 25 years ago. So that's a big mandate on Riyadh Air as we're building the next generation and the next new era in aviation industry from Riyadh Air. I think the infrastructure in Saudi gives us the potential to capitalize on a capital city, which is Riyadh City, population of 8 million Saudis, non-Saudis, residents in the capital city. So that's a huge mandate for us to promote Riyadh as the capital, promote Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which targets to have 100 million visitations by 2030. So I guess the mandate on Riyadh Air is to build a hub of an airline to promote tourism, to enable this sector massively. We are the first impression when it comes to guests who are visiting Saudi. So there's a lot of areas that will require Riyadh Air to build and capitalize upon. The infrastructure, what we see currently today, and the future outlook of that, whether it's airports, whether it's the ground handling, and all of the subsectors that supplement, the airline to rise. I think we are targeting the 2025 to be a very successful year, hopefully.
Excellent. Picking up on that, the types of partners that you're looking for, specifically in tourism, to help you build out the airline and support your growth. Are there certain partners that you would like to meet with here at WTM or more further afield that will support your growth and your ambitions?
Very great question, Oliver. I believe from a brand perspective, we are being built on 3 pillars. The first, we will be a digitally led, digitally native airline. The second pillar is going to be us relying on the hospitality piece. And we will be giving an obsession, attention to detail when it comes to guest experience. And the third pillar is adapting the best practices and standards when it comes to sustainability. So these are the 3 brand pillars that the airline would be built upon. Now, when it comes to the general ecosystem and partners, we will rely on that kind of presence and the type of partners that will help us as well to elevate our product, our service, and our offering. And hence, it's a mutual partnership that we seek for. As an airline, we will not succeed by ourselves. And our first partnership was established with the aircraft manufacturer, Boeing, when we purchased the fleet of wide bodies of a 787-9 Dreamliners back in March. So I guess partnerships is essential and cuts across all of the operations of the airline. And stay tuned to hear more about what the aviation sector will have through Riyadh Air partnerships.
Sounds good. Okay, I'm going to go to a different question. I think you've already answered it, but I do want to hear from you, given that you're from an airline. Are you in the business of transportation, or are you in the business of tourism, or both?
I think we're in the business of transportation and tourism, so it's both. But however, we will not succeed as an airline company without working with tourism. I guess this is a very unique opportunity where airlines and tourism boards should work very closely to establish such connection. I think the first guest impression to a country happens at 40,000 feet.
Yeah, of course.
So where the airline exists. So hence, we should be working jointly across all tourism boards and departments around the world to promote different capitals and cities. So hence, the reliance on that is massive and essential for us.
Great. So this is the last question. You're obviously you're from Saudi, but in the context of tourism or inbound tourism and leisure tourism being relatively new for the kingdom, would you mind sharing, one of your experiences as traveling within the kingdom, as a Saudi, and as someone that's now in the tourism industry?
Yeah. So, thank you. I think all of this is a very great question. I'm born and raised in Riyadh. I see the huge developments that came through. I used to visit the areas of suburbans in Diriyah. And what I see currently is massive undertakes for this project. Very happy to see a dear colleague in the industry of hospitality, I would say, Mr. Jerry, and the wider team in Diriyah to build that. But I think generally the concept of travel and tourism inside Saudi Arabia is booming massively. And there's huge potential for the domestic travel market that is, definitely untapped. And there's huge potential when different projects come online. And you see the likes of coastal areas of Neom Bay, Al-Ula, and what do you see of the wonders of the world over there. The Eastern Province, and what do you see as well when you go scuba diving as well. There's a lot of untapped opportunities when it comes to tourism, and I think the huge potential that different projects when it comes to Red Sea, Diriyah, Al-Ula, Neom are promoting. These are massive mega projects that are undertaking in Saudi. So very happy to see that. And I think there's an invitation to Saudis and non-Saudis to explore the potentials and the wonders and natural attractions of Saudi.
Great. That's the interview. So thank you very much for participating today and taking the time to meet with us.
Thank you, Oliver.
I'm with Rikin Wu, the CEO of Dida Travel. And thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, Oliver.
Okay, so the first question then is, tell me a little bit about your organization's role in developing out tourism in Saudi Arabia, and specifically what your company will be doing on a go-forward basis.
Okay. And my company called Dida Travel. We are a tech-driven global B2B distributor. And we are working with global partners, for example, like travel agency, OTA, tour operator, and airline, working with them and help them to get the best resources of the hotel product. Yeah. And this is what our company doing. Yeah.
And in terms of the opportunity in Saudi Arabia, you see the opportunity for what, Asian travelers to come, and specifically Chinese travelers to come to Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
You know that I come from China, that in the past 1 or 2 years, Saudi become a very hot topic for the Chinese. Yeah, and I think a lot of people, they before they are not that know Saudi that clearly. Yeah. But now these 2 years, we see a lot of information and news come from Saudi, and a lot of travelers, they are quite interested about this country. Yeah, I think this is a high opportunity for like more and more consumer come from China to Saudi. Yeah.
And you're a B2B platform.
Yeah.
So is some of this awareness that needs to happen with the travel trade in China or the travel consumer?
Yeah. Now we are working with more than 30,000 offline travel agency in worldwide. A lot of them, they are the China local travel agency. I think it's quite important that this kind of tour operator and offline travel agency, they can do some education and do some promote to the end user to tell them more about Saudi. And it really can attract more and more consumer the interest to come to Saudi.
Okay. Where do you see Saudi Arabia's advantage in terms of being a tourism destination with your B2B customers? Is it because it's new? Is it because it's in the Middle East? Is it because it's product offering? Yeah. Could you maybe describe a little bit of what you see as the competitive advantage for Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, okay. I'm so pleased that I have the opportunity to invited by the Saudi, the STA 2 weeks ago to visit the whole Saudi. And actually it's the first time for me to visit this country. And my feeling for one word is fantastic. Yeah, and it's really, really more than I expect. You know that in the past, what a lot of people in China, what they think about Saudi is like the past. Yeah, but now when I really hear, I found out that this country have a long history. And also the nature sightseeing places is very unique and very beautiful. I think this is a part that for the Saudi can really attract the China and Asia consumer in the future. And also actually the distance is not that far. Yeah, it only takes less than 10 hours for a lot of Asia country consumer. I think it's some kind of advantage. Yeah.
When you just did this trip 2 weeks ago, where did you go within the kingdom?
Wow. We landed in Riyadh first, and then we go to Alula, and then we go to Medina, and the last stop is Jeddah. Yeah, so I think the most popular and most famous city I already meet this time, and it's really amazing trip for me.
And this is with you and some of your company executives, or were you a part of a larger fam trip?
Yeah, I go with some of our company's colleagues together, the top management people, and what they're feeling is totally the same as me. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
And then in terms of your company, you see a big opportunity in Saudi to invest in, or you're going to be looking at it amongst many different opportunities that you have? Is this one of your bigger opportunities for your company?
Yeah, I think that since several years ago, and then we know that two countries, that China and Saudi, the relationship become more and more closer. Yeah, that's one part. The second part is that the two country people, they come and back more frequently, especially in the beginning, a lot of business on company, they set up the entity here and set up the team here. And so that means that in the next 10 years or 20 years, China and the Saudis, the peoples, they working together and to visit the country will be more and more frequently, because we are already the number one in China market. And I think it's a good opportunity for us to invest, especially for long term. We are thinking about 10 years to 20 years for the opportunity. So it is a right time and good time for us to invest in this country.
And then, so you're going to have to start working more with Saudi-based travel agencies to bring them into your network?
Yeah, I think there's a two part. We can working with the local partners, like the local tour operator and travel agency. One part is that we can help them to acquire or to get more client in China, because they need working with a local, the outbound local DMC to send them the consumer. That's one part. The second part is that maybe that the Saudi local DMC, they have the outbound business. I think that there must be a lot of people, they are willing or interested to visit China. Yeah, that's the second part that we can help them to do. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. This is for the end of the interview, but I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.
This has been another episode of the Skift Travel Spotlight, the future of tourism in Saudi Arabia, brought to you in partnership with the Saudi Tourism Authority. To learn more, head to visitsaudi.com. Thanks for listening.